In fact, one of the things I want to talk about is how during revolutionary times, it's often asked what to do with reactionaries and counter-revolutionaries. The Soviet Union executed many people that were sentimental toward capitalism, toward private capital, toward the old ways, and they were dealt with through a bullet. Do I personally believe that? No. But do I hold it against people that do? No. Because what it comes down to is, what does it change? Does it change things for the better? Does it change things for the worse? Does it change things at all? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself in everything that you do or don't do. Because by not doing something, you are still allowing somebody else to do something. So by not doing anything, you are just letting someone else take control of the wheel. So would I, in a situation, execute moderators, imprison moderators, things like that? Well, while I would want to, out of bitterness and resentment toward them, because they have earned it, they have earned that wrath, they are evil people, and you should show no mercy or compassion toward them, and I do hate them with every fiber of my being, I cannot in good conscience say that that would actually change anything. I cannot say that killing them would change anything, because that mindset would still exist, whether or not they themselves are dead. They as individuals do not matter. All that matters is the principle. The principle of that people have some kind of right to censor and hurt other people, and to suppress thought, and to control the environment just because. So, knowing that, you have to ask yourself, would killing these people change that mindset? Would killing these people somehow extinguish that and fluctuate the collective mind towards something else? Or would it just be more of the same? It might change the color of the flag, it might change the name of it, but would it change anything? And unfortunately, this is what divides a lot of communists and anarchists and things. This is what divided Trotskyists from Stalinists. Was this very idea that Trotsky thought that Stalin was an iron-fisted dictator that was thinking only of Russia's self-interest and became a nationalist. Whereas Stalin believed Trotsky was a tippy-toed, reactionary liberal who wanted to cave to the demands of capitalists and stuff for his own selfish gain, because Trotsky was kind of an egomaniac, and because that, he thought that everything could be solved through words rather than action. And in some ways, I think they were both right. I think Stalin was much more of a fascist than he was a communist, and I think Trotsky was much more of a reactionary and just a liberal, wet-toed coward than he was an actual revolutionary man. Would I say that things were better off because Stalin was in charge than Trotsky? Well, given history, and given the fact that what happened did happen, no. But would things be better under Trotsky? Probably not. I don't think liberal democracy would have been preferable to nationalism. They both have their downsides, and they both would have probably failed in the end, because too many people did want capitalism, and too many people conspired against them, and too many people were stuck in that evil mindset. So either way, they would have lost. They just would have lost differently. It might have not been quite as bad under Trotsky. We might have at least still had a socialist Russia, but it probably would have still been bad, and in some ways it might have actually been worse. So these are things you have to consider, but since we're not psychic, we cannot predict how bad things will go if we keep going down the road we are. We can only have faith in the fact that what we're doing is right. That's what it means to have faith. It doesn't mean having faith in God. It doesn't mean having faith in an afterlife. It doesn't mean being rewarded for your deeds. It means having faith in what you're doing. It means having faith that you are doing the right thing, and that you are doing it for the right reasons. You're not doing it for selfish gain. You're not doing it for fame or for fortune. You're not doing it because someone else has left you with only this position and you are acting in the most compromised, most weakest manner that you are allowed to get away with. You're not acting out of slave mentality that, this is the way you can change things without getting arrested, without being besmirched by your peers, and things like that. You are doing this because you authentically believe this will make the world a better place, this will make people around you's lives better, this will make you better. That's why you do it. And nothing should hold you back from that. Not punishment, not regret, not turmoil, not the possibility of making things worse. You cannot bog your mind down with those constraints. You cannot shackle yourself to the ground, worrying about if you're being hypocritical, worrying about what other people think of you, worrying about if people will come down against you for it, because you know what? They're going to do that anyway. People are going to be mean to you anyway. People are going to take from you anyway. You're going to die anyway. Those bad things are going to happen. So, you have to decide what you're going to do with this short time you have on this earth to try to make things better. To try to steer the entire world into a positive direction. The earth rotates. You have to decide how it's going to rotate. Is it going to rotate up? Is it going to rotate down? Or is it just going to remain there in stagnation, paralyzed with fear and shame and wondering whether or not you are doing the right thing, and just let someone else figure it out? Let someone else worry about it. Because you don't have the right education. You're not popular enough. You're not rich enough. Therefore, you don't get to have a say in it. That's what happens when you let someone else take control of the environment. That's what happens when you let someone else dictate the discourse that goes on. That's what happens when you allow moderators to exist. When moderators get to decide what is and isn't a conversation, when moderators get to decide what is and isn't acceptable behavior, you have given up on life. You have let someone else take control of your life and take control of your own destiny. You have let someone else dictate your soul. You have let someone else live for you. You are no longer a person. You are no longer you. You are an extension of that moderator. You are his toy. You are his furniture. You are his something or other. But you are not your own. You are not your own principles. You are not your own faith. You are not your own anything. And that's all we have in this world. We have no other reason to live than to become an extension of our principles. And either we will be our own principles or we will be somebody else's. But either way, we will be a principle. That is our soul. That is our being. And you have to, I know it's scary, I know it's a little mind-bending, it's a bit deep, but you have to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why are you bothering to live this life unless it's for something positive? Do you think going to work every day and getting a middle income and working hard to get a nice house and a nice car is any life to live? Is that really what it's all about? Is that really all you can do, all you want to do? Does that really accomplish anything of positive merit? I mean, sure, you might live comfortably, but is comfort really worth sacrificing any meaning behind it all? Is comfort worth, just living a life to live it, to wait to die, That's what it's really all about. I don't care about comfort. I don't care about, having a nice house, having a wife and kids, white picket fence, dying peacefully in a bed, relatively healthy, where I just sleep and I don't wake up one day. That to me doesn't matter. I don't care if I die on a fucking hospital bed, hooked up to a oxygen tank, and gasping for life every moment of every day until I finally drop dead. I don't care if I die painfully. I don't care if I die prematurely. I don't care if, I die and everyone in the world hates me simultaneously. I fucking don't care. All I care about is wondering whether or not what I'm doing right now is affecting something, somewhere, in a positive way. And frankly, I could probably be doing more, but I can't think of right now how to do more. Man, unless being violent. But I don't really think being violent is going to solve anything. I authentically don't believe that just me bludgeoning moderators with a club is going to get the point across. It's not going to change the wah. It's not going to change the psychic minefield that has moved humanity into this direction of self-destruction and enslavement. So that's what I'm trying to get across in my videos. And some people get that. Like Kirrashakku, he gets it. He may not agree with everything I say. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. But he understands that that is the main purpose of life, is to do, is to think, is to be, not to just do as you're told, not to just accept the way things are, and certainly not to keep your mouth shut and not at least stimulate the possibility of a new idea or the possibility of a new social interaction. You should make as many friends as possible. You should make enemies too, because you have to keep moving. You have to keep doing. You have to keep stimulating that change, or else it's not going to come. Or if it is, it's going to be in a negative way because some sociopath started doing it first. So you have to just do it. You can't worry about stupid shit like, if you might lose your job from being politically oriented and your employer doesn't like your politics, which says something about the place you live in. If just because you're politically minded, which you're supposed to be, I mean, we fucking vote after all, you can get fired from your job and lose everything. So it doesn't matter how hardworking you are. It doesn't matter how you treat other people. It doesn't matter whether or not you're actually good at what you do. The very fact that they can be that despicable towards you with no repercussions whatsoever, and we're okay with that, says more about us than whether or not it happens to begin with. So that's the kind of thing I'm trying to get across, but that doesn't seem to be registering in a lot of heads, because they don't want it to. They love evil. They worship evil. They're devil worshippers, in whatever form that devil takes on. Devil worshippers are not fucking people in druidic robes, worshiping a Baphomet symbol in secrecy, under candlelight in an Illuminati temple. They're just normal people. Everyday people that just accept the evils of this world and don't take into accountability how anything you do can change it. I mean, it might not change it to something better, but it's worth trying. It's worth taking a stab at. You got nothing to lose. So that's what I'm trying to say here, and see you later.